I wanted to make a little video talking about something other than Dragon Quest for a bit. And I figured I'd talk about something that I recently went to see. That is the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that just came out this week or a week ago. And wow, it was amazing. I really loved it. I went to see it on Wednesday, the 25th. I'm sure it's the 25th. Yeah, I think. Yeah, last week. I went to see it last week on the Wednesday, about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I absolutely loved it. It was great. It was a perfect movie representation of the games. And, I don't think a lot of people are talking about it enough, because we are seeing a lot of people talking about it in places like TikTok and shit, but not a lot of people talking about it generally. You got all of the shit posters and the memes and the people talking about what they saw, but not enough people just kind of sitting down, casually, relaxed, like they're talking to a friend that they viciously want to ravage and actually give their opinion in the movie, because, people just don't do much unfiltered, unedited content now. But no, I went to see the movie and I don't really know what my expectations were for it, to be honest. I went into the Mario movie expecting it to be a pile of shit, and it was great. But for this one, I had no opinions. I knew nothing about it. I didn't look into it. I deliberately avoided the trailers. I knew the movie was coming. I knew I was going to see it. That was enough for me. I'm an impatient person, so when it comes to getting hyped about shit, I try to actively avoid getting hyped for shit, because then the wait feels slower. So I just kind of put it out of my mind to the side and focus on other things, and then when it comes out, I just relish in the fact it's here. So I genuinely had no thoughts or opinions going in how the movie was going to be. I did notice that William Afton was played by the fucking actor for Shaggy in the live Scooby-Doo movies, and I found that to be hilarious. I just loved the fact that was happening. And everyone criticised it at first, obviously. They were like, oh, that's going to be shit. This guy who played Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is coming in. And, then you look at some of his other performances and, okay, he actually has a shot. And he played the role really well. The only real issue is that he didn't have enough screen time. I'm kind of disappointed with how little we got to see him about, because he was great. The main whole story of the movie is the shit from the first game. Kids in the suits, Mike Schmidt, the fucking Springtrap suit, all of that fun stuff. It's not too serious. It's been very well put forward that the movie is for fans. It's not some extension of the lore or attempt to get you into the series. It's a thing for people who have played the games and who like the games and all that shit. And it did that job very well. It did it amazingly. We had tons of different references and Easter eggs and shit in the background. There's people talking about the puppets showing up. It's the Bite of 87 or 83, whatever it was, in the background is one of the drawings, like an actual screenshot of it. There were multiple different massive content creators in the movie, like Corey Kenshin. He was great. I loved seeing him in the movie. And of course the lawyer Doug. I fucking adore that character. Everyone agrees. For whatever reason, he's the funniest thing in that movie. There was a few things that they did kind of different. They humanised the animatronics a bit more, focused on the children, rather than, oh, scary animatronic in the dark. Like the ones that are behind me, you just can't see them. They're there, I promise. But they did try and focus more on the children rather than the machines, which I enjoyed. I felt it was kind of jaw-dropping to see the animatronics not killing shit. And it was a welcome change. People, for whatever reason, seemed to dislike it, but I had no issue with it. I liked it. Speaking of people disliking it, that's just a thing I'm noticing a lot of. The movie, which has exploded over the past week, getting about 132 million, 130 million in its first like week or weekend of release globally, with 80 million domestically. That's amazing, right? They had a 20 million budget, and they overshot. They almost took that shit to multiples of 10. That's how good they did with it. They literally took the budget and multiplied it by like 6, and still had a little bit of extra change to add on top of that pile. And people are still saying it's a garbage movie and it's a shit watch and it's worthless and all this and all that. It's mainly critics that are saying that, because from what I've been seeing, the fans of the show, the games, they loved it. You know, they took it at the face value it's supposed to be taken at. I don't mean like ignoring everything. I just kind of mean, you know, you're going in knowing it's for the fans. You're not going in thinking it's some extension, and you look around at the background and see all the Easter eggs and just, you know, have fun with it. It's a movie for fans. The critics fucking hated that and had all manners of issue. One thing I did see quite commonly was that people said it just didn't feel right, or it didn't feel like the pacing was right or any of that shit. I couldn't find any genuine concerns with the movie. It's all just vague bullshit that they don't elaborate on because, you know, they want to shit in the movie. There are obviously flaws with it. It's not perfect, but for what it is, it's really good. There were a few disappointments though, such as Markiplier not being able to show up, MatPat actually showing up, and, you know, there are a few things with the pacing that I didn't like too much. But overall, I did have fun with it. And the success for it has been amazing. So amazing that a fight broke out in, like, the first 2 days of the fucking film being shown. Someone got the shit kicked out of them in the middle of the cinema because I think they said they didn't like the movie, and then people started kicking the shit out of them. Don't quote me in that. I haven't looked into it too much. But I have seen the clips, and honestly, it's hilarious to see people fighting that much over a movie about a fucking game from 2016 that was mainly picked up by like Let's Play YouTubers and kids. It's kind of a funny thing. One funny thing I'm noticing is that a lot of people are criticising the Fnaf movie for having too much plot, because yes, that's a thing they're saying. The pacing's off and there's not a good story, but too much plot. Same people are saying that the Mario movie had no plot and it was a problem. You know? Doesn't really compute right. But for what it's worth, the movie was great. I really enjoyed it, and the afterward experience was hilarious. Because I actually, we left the cinema and we had a bunch of younger people throwing McFlurries at us and threatening us and all of that fun shit. It was funny. It was genuinely funny. It wasn't anything dangerous or people that were threatened by or anything spooky. It was a bunch of teenagers thinking they're funny, and it was a very funny situation. So it definitely made the night more memorable. But yeah, I figured I'd make a little unscripted video, well, in the dark, talking about random shit. I'm going to do these videos a bit more often so that I am putting things out and we're getting some content done. And, you know, for those that are watching my channel regularly, Dragon Quest IX episodes haven't been coming out almost daily like they were originally. That is because when I started doing the series, I had like a full week off of college where I didn't have to do anything, and then we went back, and now I have a lot of studying to do and a lot of other shit to do, and mixing it between my free time and family stuff and all that is not very easy. So videos are a bit slower right now at the moment. Another issue I'm having with videos is ideas, because I do reviews, I do commentary, I do the more edited, the more bigger production value videos. I haven't had a lot of ideas for those. I haven't really had much, so I haven't been putting them out because, you know, head empty. If you guys want to leave any ideas of something you want me to cover properly with like production value and editing and all that, put it in the comments and I'll look into it, because I do need ideas. But yeah, I think that's about it for this video, and I'll see you guys later. Good night.